Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 497 based on novel. So let's start. After saying goodbye to the immortal realm, Xiao Yan, Yun and Yu followed the cracks in time and space and headed towards the so-called six-path Samsara Palace. Are you okay? Along the way, the three seemed to be afraid or other factors. The whole journey seemed extremely monotonous, and finally Xiao Yang decided to take the initiative to ask. It seems that the atmosphere between the two women is not quite right. Forget it, I'll go alone. See you in the cave. After being asked by Xiao Yang, Yueru's expression changed, and she didn't care about Xiao Yang and the two of them. She was standing in the void, separated from Xiao Yang and the two of them by herself, and took a shortcut. Let's go with her. I have her power in me, and I can lock her trail. At this moment, Yun's beautiful eyes were also filled with a faint sense of relief, and Yu, who was watching her leaving, shook her head helplessly. Both of them are the real arrogant daughters of the fairy world, but now, in front of things you like, you can't be generous. Who doesn't want to have it alone? These years, are you okay? In the faint void, Xiao Yang smiled slightly, and then looked at this delicate man who was close at hand with some nostalgia. Yun's aura is still her personality, and there is basically no major change. Her indifferent temperament and her calm personality make her look like a fairy who is not disturbed by the world. Yun nodded lightly, and at this moment she was just looking at Xiao Yang carefully. Compared with before in Dochi continent, this guy has undergone earth-shaking changes. Whether it is the breath of his body or the kind of hostile energy, he has now restrained himself. Has the double reincarnation stage been reached? Xiao Yang smiled slightly and immediately sensed it, confirming Yun's specific strength. The reincarnation and inheritance of the two women are slowly disseminated, and they are all at the strength of the double reincarnation. Although the strength is not strong, but with the divine weapon in their hands, the combat power is indeed a bit appalling. Hey. While moving, seeing that Yun didn't care, Xiao Yang grinned, and then quietly leaned over. Humph. No seriousness. Now that the Six Paths Reincarnation Palace is about to open, the entire Great Thousand Worlds are planning nervously. This is not something that can be compared to the pure lotus demon fire. Yun's demeanor was dignified, and her beautiful eyes glared at Xiao Yang, who was approaching with a smile on her face. I don't have any relatives, I just want to see Yun up close. Seeing that his little plan was seen through, Xiao Yang could only scratch his head and laugh dryly. Yun now has all the power inheritance of Hua Qing'er, and can temporarily use the strength of the five-layer reincarnation, and with the Taiji Heavenly Emperor Sword, the overall strength should not be underestimated. Even the current Xiao Yang, if he can cope with it, it is also extremely tricky existence. Next time if you do something stupid like that, we won't spare you. Just when Xiao Yang felt a little disappointed, a soft and delicate body unexpectedly stretched out a pair of beautiful and suffocating jade hands, and hugged Xiao Yang from behind. Xiao Yang's heart suddenly trembled. Xiao Yang nodded heavily, enjoying this long-lost hug. Hey, is this the so-called Lord of Endless Fire territory? Just as this piece of love between children in the space-time wormhole was slowly fermenting, an incongruous voice suddenly broke the tranquility here. Who? Xiao Yang's brows wrinkled, and a touch of anger surged into the sky, converging into a gorgeous glass-colored flame, causing the entire space-time wormhole to distort and burn slightly. In hell, messenger of hell. The faint voice fell, and suddenly a cloud of almost pure white mist poured into Xiao Yang's line of sight. Hell realm. It is said that the world is a strange existence that controls the lives of the whole world. I can't believe that the news of the holy flame will attract all the powerhouses in this area. Yun looked at the messenger in the white mist in front of her with slight surprise, let go of Xiao Yang, and became vigilant. Humph. Your Excellency is disturbing, it's really worthy of a fight. Boom. Just as Xiao Yang finished speaking, his entire body was like a ghost and disappeared in place in an instant, and when he appeared the next moment, it was already surrounded by white mist. The glass-colored holy flames were woven into a huge flame net, which was even filled with holy ancient fluctuations, which easily imprisoned the entire foggy light group. It really is holy flame, but this kind of noisy holy flame is not small. It seems that this guy is as powerful as rumored. Although Xiao Yang was imprisoned by such means, there was still a faint voice in the fog, as if he was not afraid at all. Never mind. See you at the Six Paths Reincarnation House. The voice fell, Bai Wu's body shrank violently, the void distorted, and disappeared under the eyes of the two in an instant. Even the huge flame net, which was completely woven from 6 kinds of holy flames, was blown away. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yan's mind was filled with extreme shock. How could this guy escape from his holy flame net? The world is a bit special. Most of them are soul bodies, dedicated to serving the King of Hell, so the fighting skills and strength of their cultivation are very different from ours. It's a bit like the Soul Palace before Dochi Continent. And now competing for the 3rd holy flame, I am afraid that those who have the courage to come are all strong people with thaumaturgy. Yun shook her head, and immediately opened the taste and explained Xiao Yang. These news, of course, was told to him by Hua Qing'er when he was in the immortal realm. Let's go. As soon as the words fell, Xiao Yang's heart became heavy again. It seems that this trip to the reincarnation palace of the heavenly Tao will not be easy, because it is a fight between dragons and tigers. The real confrontation of the genius generation in the entire Great Thousand World is much stronger than any battle Xiao Yang has faced in the past. The two looked at each other, and with the help of the flame barrier in Xiao Yang's palm, they rushed towards their destination like a gallop. However, just after the two of them left, there were also a lot of black light clusters flickering behind them. The aura fluctuations contained in those light clusters were also very amazing. Obviously, their destination was the 6 paths of samsara. In the vast world, it can be said that it is really busy now. Some super powerhouses have the 3rd holy flame in their hearts. They once tried to take it into their pockets regardless of the persuasion and isolation, but they ended up in a sad state. Therefore, this time the trip to the cave has almost brought together the powerhouses of countless geniuses in the entire Great Thousand World. The demon world, the Buddha world, the fairy world, the regional world, the human world, and the powerhouses of the 6 worlds are now rushing towards the cave, but the ghost world is a little quieter, and there is not even any peculiar fluctuations. Very weird. Looking at this appearance, it seems that the ghost realm does not want to participate in the competition for the 6 Paths Reincarnation Palace, or is entangled in some troubles. After all, the other 6 realms are constantly fluctuating in the void, and there are strong people who are facing the 6 Paths Reincarnation House. Only the void of the ghost world is quiet and terrible. The 6 Paths Reincarnation House is located in the flame world at the top of time and space. We are about to enter the 1,000-mile range of the top of time. The void here is extremely strange, and the powerhouses gathered now are mixed with fish and dragons, so be careful. The two looked at the edge of the space-time wormhole, where the bright light was shining. Yun said with some worry, and with her perception, she naturally sensed some extremely obscure and powerful aura. Xiao Yang raised his head and looked at the light mouth at the end of the wormhole in time and space. The dazzling light there released a terrifying high temperature like a pierced pear shining on the sun. Even Xiao Yang had a depressing aura. Out. The light mouth behind the spacetime wormhole is the so-called top of spacetime, where the holy flame exists. The power of the 3rd holy flame is no trivial matter. If you only rely on flesh and blood, even the reincarnation-level powerhouse cannot easily approach, let alone swallow it, so the powerhouses gathered this time are obviously some with huge treasures. Strong. After you leave here and enter your destination, you must not leave me 5 meters away. Xiao Yang took Yun's wrist and his eyes became serious. After the battle at the center of the fairy world, Xiao Yang would not put the two in danger. Just now in the space-time wormhole, there are dozens of extraordinary powerhouses who are staring at us. It seems that they have regarded you as an extremely terrifying opponent. This trip to Shenyang Cave Mansion is destined to be extraordinary. Yun smiled sweetly, trying to relieve the pressure in Xiao Yang's heart. Really? Xiao Yang shook his hands with a helpless look on his face. The fact that he has many holy flames in his body is no longer a secret in the entire Great Thousand World. Therefore, it is reasonable to be jealous of others. Go! As soon as the voice fell, the two got up at the same time and fell into the mouth of the light, successfully entering the top of time. The pinnacle of time and space, this is a place of void that only exists in legend. Legend has it that it is a special area created by the 6 Paths Samsara immortals alone. Whether it is the energy of heaven and earth or the endless treasures, it is enough to make people crazy. But since the First World War, with the 6 Paths of Reincarnation immortals disappearing into the long river of time, countless powerhouses have deliberately searched for them, but there is no result. The top of time and space is actually a lofty mountain. Desert, wilderness, desolate atmosphere, such a terrifying geographical space. The 6 Path Reincarnation immortals who built this world may have reached a certain state of transcendence. Staying in the high sky at the top of time and space, looking at the void world below, a sense of insignificance arises spontaneously, which makes Xiao Yang sigh. In the world below, most of them are mountains and mountains, but more are a strange desert with orange and gold. Above the desert, quicksand surging, and some kind of terrifying temperature seems to rise up, twisting the entire void slightly. At this time, above the void, there are many figures surging around one after another, and they seem to be searching for something. Just the outermost holy flame afterglow has such power. I really don't know how powerful this so-called third holy flame is. After careful sensing, Xiao Yang couldn't help taking a deep breath. Running the holy flame and protecting the body can greatly isolate the baking of the temperature here. Right, that is it. Xiao Yang carefully taught Yun Yun how to use Shenyang. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, his eyes suddenly looked at this vast orange-golden desert. The glass-colored flames wrapped his body, preventing him from the burning sensation in the air. In the desert below, the quicksand is constantly surging, and at the end of it there is a huge vortex like an abyss, which is constantly swallowing and stirring the whole world. Under such a terrifying high temperature, a faint orange-gold light was slowly emitted from the desert. In that light, it seemed that even the power of the soul could be easily eaten away. What a weird space and the power of fire. What is the power of this third-ranked holy flame? Just as Xiao Yang's soul power was released, he suddenly found some human beings hidden between the desert and the mountains below. The power fluctuations on their bodies were all around the level of reincarnation, but at this time they were burned by this residual power. The residual power on the periphery of this desert is so terrifying. If it goes deep into the center of the desert vortex, what kind of terrifying existence should it be? The center of the whirlpool is the flame world that appeared in the information scroll. The entrance to the Six Paths Samsara Palace also exists there. Yun Yun was surrounded by holy flames, setting it off like a flower elf. It's weird. In an instant, before Xiao Yang and the others could start, a flower spirit suddenly poured out from behind Yun Yun. At this moment, her small face twitched tightly, her eyes kept staring at the center of the desert vortex, and she muttered, as if she sensed an inexplicable irritability from there. This is unprecedented. After the blink of an eye, the whole world suddenly surged up, and there were bursts of harsh wind breaking in all directions. Even in some emptiness of this world, a violent energy is slowly transmitted, as if some powerhouse is fighting in it. Yueru, Hell Messenger, go and see. As soon as the words fell, Xiao Yang and Yun Yun flashed and swept towards the high altitude of the desert world. At this moment, bursts of hot energy fluctuations slowly poured out, rendering the entire deserted world that was slightly dead and lively. Give me that thing. Yueru held the moon god's sword and stared fiercely at the fog in front of her. From there, she could smell a rather eerie aura. Hee. This thing is for those who are destined to get it. I go first. After the messenger of finished speaking, the whole body trembled for a while, the speed skyrocketed, and it suddenly swept towards the desert vortex below. In his hand, there is an orange-gold flame light that shakes lightly. With such fluctuations, the countless sandstorms rolled up in the desert, strangely avoided attacking the messenger of hell. Want to run? Moon god sword shadow. There was a touch of anger in Yueru's eyes, and then waves of silver moonlight rippled on the moon divine sword in her palm suddenly swung out, with a crescent moon, like a half-moon arc, facing the messenger of hell. Angrily cut away. Are all people in the fairyland so unreasonable? The immortal world has just suffered a great change. You should return to the immortal world as soon as possible. The messenger of did not show his true body, surrounded by a cloud of fog, and immediately laughed. Hellfire. In an instant, a mass of black flames suddenly spewed out from the messenger of hell, forming a huge black temple around here. Bang bang bang. The deafening terrifying sound spread out, but the entire void and the desert world below did not suffer any loss. It seems that Yueru is as tyrannical as Yueru's current double reincarnation rank strength, combined with the blow of the moon god sword, has become much weaker. In other words, the originally terrifying attack was suppressed by more than a little bit in this top of time and space. Yueru's attack, weakened? Xiao Yang and the two who rushed over looked at the attack above the sky, but exclaimed. No, it's not that the attack power has become weaker, but the power of the attack has been suppressed too much by this space, and the stability of this space has even surpassed the center of the fairy world. With our current strength, I'm afraid we can't twist and shatter the void. It seems that these 6 reincarnation immortals seem to have foresight. Xiao Yang shook his head suddenly, looking at the two people in the battle, his eyes shrank tightly, the power of reincarnation and the power of holy flame in his body quietly revolved. You should hand over your things. After the blow was over, the messenger of sneered. With the help of the light seal, Zaidu seemed to want to take the lead in rushing into the flame world under the desert whirlpool, but unexpectedly, Xiao Yang blocked all escape routes. Xiao Yang, the thing in his hand, called the spacetime fire seal, is the key to entering the flame world below. The flame world below is extremely dangerous. If there is no shelter from the fire marks of time and space, even we can't stay for a quarter of an hour. In the distance, Yueru's soul transmitted a voice and told Xiao Yang the news. Hand over things, I don't want to repeat it a third time. Xiao Yang's eyes were indifferent. The glass-colored flames all over his body were like an intensifying volcano, about to erupt. I've heard that Lord Xiao Yu is very powerful, and I just tried it today. Hell Law times Soul Ecstasy Chain. The messenger of smiled grimly, and the white mist all over his body instantly turned into a dead white chain, suddenly facing the void and stabbing towards Xiao Yang's eyebrows. Call out. The violent breaking wind sound was particularly harsh, and a thick death energy gushed out from the white mist of the messenger's body protection. Xiao Yang did not act, and the reincarnation power in his body also began to dim, but a more expanding power poured into his eyes like a tide. Holy flame, eye of gaze. In the state of the messenger of hell, Xiao Yang smiled strangely, and the glass-colored flame and soul power instantly poured into his eyes. Terrifying power. Bang bang bang. When the soul hook was about to touch Xiao Yang's body, it seemed to be suppressed by some powerful force and stalemate in the air. The body-protecting white fog of the messenger on the side was also suddenly shattered by Xiao Yang's huge holy flame-staring pupil. As the power of the soul and the power of the holy flame became stronger and stronger, many fighting skills were displayed again in the past, and the power was also increased by geometric multiples. This guy's soul power? How can it be? The messenger of was frightened for a while, and when he looked at Xiao Yang's terrifying fluctuations, he seemed to be hesitating. However, the messenger of at this time, with an illusory appearance of a soul body, was attacked by Xiao Yang in such a prestige manner, his entire body froze instantly, and his dark eyes were filled with an unbelievable look. Even above the soul body of the messenger of hell, there was a slight flicker of black flames, beating slowly, as if preparing for something. The entire void, at this moment Zaidu became quiet, and many figures along the way looked at this scene with swords drawn, and their eyes were full of astonishment. So much so that when he saw Xiao Yang, there was a terrifying chill in his heart. The strength of the Lord of Endless Fire Territory seems to be more terrifying than the legend. Everyone, come out. The Holy Flame Cave is just around the corner. I believe that you will not be willing to waste time on this, right? Xiao Yang patted it casually, and the terrifying chain that was enough to pierce the soul suddenly shattered. He immediately smiled and said to the slightly surging void around him, "The domain Lord Xiao of the human realm is indeed very majestic. In the lower Buddha world, there is no phase Zen master. The sea of suffering is boundless, turning back is the shore." While speaking, a Buddhist monk in a blue cassock stepped out of the void and stopped beside the messenger of hell. Buddha beads were wrapped around his hands. Every time he chanted, there would be a faint Zen sound, which made people palpitate. The soul-enchanting messenger in the ***** world. At the same time, another rather illusory soul body surged out. The long tongue looks particularly scary, and even a very strange wave is permeated all over the body. Hey, now that the three of us joined forces, we may be able to kill Lord Xiao Yu first. A guy with multiple holy flames, I believe you are not willing to let him in, right? Seeing the Zen master and the enchanter coming together, the messenger of hell suddenly grinned and said, obviously the three of them had already formed some kind of alliance. Xiao Yang, Yueru and Yunyun looked at each other, and immediately the power in their bodies began to surge. In 3-on-3, under normal circumstances, the three of them would be hard-pressed to defeat each other. Because of the strength of the other three, except for the quasi-triple reincarnation rank of the messenger, the strengths of the other two are all real triple reincarnation rank. Ha ha ha. When did the two lonely ants in the world have such courage? The next moment, energy fluctuations poured out from the void, forming a figure wearing a blue shirt, but with a rebellious and arrogant aura. A green demonic energy, carrying a touch of arrogance, suddenly burst out from a distant light spot. People from the demon world? Nether Sea Dragon Snake. The three people in the distance looked at this domineering figure with a monstrous aura, and couldn't help but look solemn. The strength of the Nether Sea Dragon Snake is also a real triple reincarnation level, and even because this guy has a little relationship with the dragon family in his body, the combat power is even more staggering. Hey, are you the Xiao Yang that elder sister said? No wonder elder sister thinks so much about you. Immediately, behind Xiao Yang, a little girl suddenly appeared, staring at Xiao Yang with big watery eyes, but her body was crawling with snakes, insects, rats, ants, and it looked equally scary. Under the demon realm, the 10,000 poison GU girl of the poison god realm, with the strength of the quasi-triple reincarnation level, even some real triple reincarnation levels can't deal with the poison in her hands. This is an existence on a par with the holy maiden of the poison god palace. At this moment, the expressions of the three people in the distance slowly became solemn. Now, do you still want to fight? Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes and stared at the three people in the distance. If it is not for not wanting to waste time here, with their lineup, it is not a problem to obliterate the opponent. Go. The messenger of threw the spacetime fire seal out, and immediately rushed into the desert vortex first, and the remaining two also followed. Without the protection of time and space fire marks, it is quite laborious to go deep into the flame world, but they may have some treasures on them. The Lord Xiao you mentioned by Lord Monster Emperor is really extraordinary. The Serenity Sea Dragon Snake came up and patted Xiao Yang's shoulder with a grin. All beings in the demon world are cultivated by supernatural beings, and they are arrogant and arrogant. Even if the Demon Emperor personally instructed Xiao Yang to be the child of the Demon Emperor himself, if there is not enough strength, I am afraid that Xiao Yang will be difficult to obtain the recognition of the Sea Dragon and Snake. Sister, let me take care of you here. Don't worry, with me, they don't dare to beat you. The 10,000 GU poisonous girl on the side is patted her chest proudly. These should be one of the powerhouses gathered today, but why are there no powerhouses in the human world and the ghost world? Let's go. The time and space fire seal unfolded, instantly turning into a huge lotus leaf, sheltering Xiao Yang and the five, and swept away together against the flame world under the desert vortex below. Then, is the key to entering the cave. The figures of the five people flickered, and they easily poured into the flame world below. In this rumored world of raging flames, countless magma stirred, and all of them exuded terrifying fluctuations. In the fiery red world, the red flames and molten lava are like surging rivers, continuously turning into pillars of fire, intertwining them as dangerous as a true flame of purgatory. The high temperature continued to spread. This appearance is more imposing and dangerous than the lava world of the ancient emperor's cave on the Dochi continent. The five people stayed above the flame world, looking at this strange space where the flames and melts were constantly rising, and their hearts were slightly cold. According to the information, the entrance to the cave dwelling in the Six Paths Reincarnation Mansion is in the depths of this molten world, but in such a huge world of flames, finding the entrance to the cave dwelling is tantamount to looking for a needle in a haystack. In such a huge flame world, how do you find the entrance to the cave? The sea dragon Snake squinted at the mysterious space in front of him, and some looming auras kept wandering. Obviously, there are dozens of powerful auras here, and they are all looking for the entrance to the cave. In an instant, in the distant flame world, a trace of orange-gold arc of fire suddenly flashed, and the arc of fire flashed past, and the entire void distorted slightly, and even stirred up hundreds of feet of molten fire, making some strength just touched. The powerhouses around the reincarnation order were submerged and swallowed by it, and without any chance to resist, they melted instantly, leaving only a burst of resentful screams and roars in the entire space. Under its flame, the reincarnation-level powerhouse is as weak and powerless as an ant. Let's split up. After a while, Yuhai Dragon Snake and Myriad Poison GUNU Girl looked at each other and acted separately. Be careful of the orange-gold flames in the flame world. Call out. Xiao Yang just reminded, and the glass-colored flame on his body suddenly turned into a drop of rain, quietly falling from a high altitude, and dripping down towards the molten world below. With a bang, the glazed raindrops just touched the molten world. A huge gap suddenly appeared in the molten world below. Countless molten and flames quickly retreated, as if they were extremely afraid of Xiao Yang's flames. Strange. Where's the entrance to the cave? Xiao Yang's soul power was irrigated, and he controlled the flame raindrops to continuously swim in the molten world below, trying to find the entrance information about the Six Paths Samsara Palace. Although he was sweating profusely, he found nothing. The entrance to the cave, it doesn't seem to be below. After about a few minutes, Xiao Yang just recovered his power and looked at the world below with a look of astonishment. In this world, orange-gold arcs of fire erupted from the crimson flames from time to time. Even Xiao Yang and the others felt the pressure of that kind of arc. It was an arc of fire contaminated with the breath of holy flame, and its power was too terrifying. The temperature is getting higher and higher. Yun Yun's silver teeth gnawed slightly, even with the protection of time and spacefire marks and holy flames, in this molten flame world, she felt a heart palpitation. The entrance to the cave must exist here. Go. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he led the two women to roar towards the molten world together. Boom. When Xiao Yang and the others surged, in the entire molten world, countless flame beams spewed out from the world below. Immediately, 6 spears pierced the scorching sun, strangely emerging from the lava world below, and then slowly penetrated into the sky. 6 scorching suns, surrounded by each other, actually formed a ring of orange light under the gaze of everyone. At the moment when the orange ring was formed, there were bursts of extremely strong energy fluctuations in the whole world, and countless orange mists suddenly invaded from the void. A powerful wave of fire suddenly spread out. That's the entrance to the cave. Everyone held their breath, their eyes narrowed slightly, and they looked a little crazy at the distorted void in the distance. The void around the orange ring began to distort, tilting and squirming like a pool of liquid, and a smear of orange lava surrounded it, as if it was building and connecting some ancient place. Is this the entrance to the 6 Paths Reincarnation Palace? But this is not the same as the information we got. Some powerhouses hidden in the flame world became excited, but after a brief hesitation, they suddenly said, "Humph. A bunch of idiots." At the same time, a man in white clothes stepped out, his eyes wandering over Xiao Yang and the ring. That is, Xiao Yang's attention has always been on the entrance to the cave. Those strange powers have already begun to surge, and soon the entrance to the 6 Paths Reincarnation Mansion will be completely opened. However, with Xiao Yang's strength, he can still sense that a distant visitor is not good. Eyes. That's the most outstanding genius of the vassal race in the center of the human world, Tang Feng. It is said that this guy once killed a true quadruple reincarnation rank with his own hands. His strength is only a triple reincarnation rank. Yuru Dai frowned, looking at Tang Feng in the distance. An invisible pressure permeated out. There is a grudge between Xiao Yang and the center of the human world. I am afraid that this trip to the cave will be targeted by the other party. The soldiers will come to block the water and cover the soil. Xiao Yang shook his head. This Tang Feng's strength should not be underestimated, but if he were to stop himself from harvesting holy flame, then I'm afraid he could only have a good fight. Anyway, he and the human world center will have a fight sooner or later. Crack. While dozens of top powerhouses were anxiously waiting, the orange ring suddenly shattered a little bit. At the moment when it collapsed, the temperature of the entire world suddenly rose hundreds of times, and at the center, a space vortex, like an ancient behemoth that had been sleeping for countless years, opened its huge mouth and appeared hideously. Even in the huge mouth, there is an indescribable ancient breath. The entrance to the reincarnation cave. Come on. Heavenly reincarnation flame is mine. As soon as the space vortex appeared, some of the powerhouses present surging non-stop, swept away frantically at it. Brother Xiao Yang, go ahead and see you in the cave. I'm leaving first, and I have to help my sister pick poison. The Nether Sea Dragon Snake and Myriad Poison GU girl said something to Xiao Yang and the others, and immediately rushed into it. They have some relationship with Xiao Yang, but they also want to fight. As for the final winner of Shenyang, I am afraid they can only follow the fate. After all, they also know how much they have. Xiao Yang, it's time to go. Seeing that the entire flame world is so lively, Yun Yun's beautiful eyes stretched out, looking at the entrance of the whirlpool in the distance, and said softly, "This time, no matter what, we must help Xiao Yang obtain this holy flame. Let's go. Let me see what the horrors of the top powerhouses in other realms are." Xiao Yang suddenly activated the flame of holy flame, and with the two women, rushed into the cave like chasing the stars and chasing the moon. In the dark and deep eyes, there is not only a touch of extreme fiery, but also a touch of pride and arrogance. After coming to the Great Thousand World for decades, as long as you get this holy flame, you can go one step further from that so-called peak. The reincarnation of the heavenly path must be obtained. The three of them had just poured into the vortex-like mouth leading to the cave, and they only felt that the whole body was instantly enveloped by an invisible and strange power, and they were in a pitch-black void. Immediately, the whole body of the three of them suddenly tense, and the aura in their bodies became turbulent. What are these things? Just came to the inside of the 6 Paths Reincarnation Mansion, a scorching hot and dusty heat roasted the three of them, making their nerves extremely sharp, and Yueru frowned. At this time, the three of them came to a relatively narrow cave. Except for a glimmer of light, the cave had no way out, and only 6 bottomless endless passages came into view. After temporarily stabilizing the situation, The three of them found strangely that a trace of orange-gold light pattern was engraved on their body at some point, and no matter what kind of power they used, they couldn't get rid of it. The orange-gold light pattern was like a special mark for prisoners. After it was applied, they always felt that some mysterious power in this cave was restricting them. Don't waste your time. This is the unique flame power of the six paths Samsara Immortal. The orange-gold light pattern on your body is his rule. When you enter the cave, you must abide by the rules set by him, otherwise you will be destroyed here. The flower elf turned into the size of a palm, hovering above Yun Yun's shoulder, looking at the six passages in front of him and the orange-gold light pattern on Xiao Yang's body. His eyes kept changing, as if he was trying to remember something. Rule. Xiao Yang really smelled the breath of holy flame from which light patterns, and immediately asked after listening to the words of the flower spirit. The so-called rules are the test games set up by the Six Paths Reincarnation Immortals, and they are also the rules of this cave. However, the flower spirit did not respond directly to Xiao Yang, but instead said vaguely as if confused. What about the rest? Yueru and Yunyun on the side frowned. The atmosphere in this cave space was too strange, and it was full of deadly dangers everywhere. In my opinion, after entering the cave, you have been randomly teleported away. There is only one entrance, but there are thousands of roads leading to the center of the cave. Next, I'm afraid it's the rules of the game for the Six Paths Reincarnation Immortals. Look at the six passages in front of you. With Yun Yun, the flower elf slowly looked at the six passages around her, and in a few words, she slowly answered the doubts in Xiao Yang's mind. In the Great Thousand Worlds, the introduction to the top 3 holy flames on the holy flame list is too vague, and few experts know the information about the so-called Six Paths Reincarnation Immortals and holy flames. Xiao Yang and the others were dozens of meters away, and there was no way out. 6 passages formed the entrance to the entire cave, and on the top of the passages, there were different words, and the orange-gold fonts revealed a hint of ominous air. 6 paths: humanity, heaven, Ashura, hell, hungry ghosts, and animals. This is. Looking at this scene, Xiao Yang was surprised by the strange orange-gold light pattern on his body. The entrance is here. The flower elf shook her head. Her memory of the information here was rather vague. Where is this going to enter? Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes. Although he released his profound soul power to investigate, he found nothing. It seems that the 6 passages contain the terrifying power that devours the soul, as unfathomable as the abyss. According to some obscure records in the Seal of Samsara, it seems that all 6 paths can lead to the main hall of the cave, but among the 6 passages, there is only one way to survive, and the other 5 are full of endless danger. If we make the wrong choice, I'm afraid we will face a very dangerous predicament. The reincarnation mark on Yueru's eyebrows flickered, obviously searching for some ancient information. Although the 6 paths Samsara Immortal is also a human being, he is like an old child, and he is naturally playful, so be careful. The flower elves always felt that there was an inexplicable danger here, and couldn't help reminding them. The flower spirit is not only the spirit of holy flame, it is said that this guy is left by the flower god, but the trace of the flower is unknown in the whole world. Where to go? After a while, Yueru and Yunyun retreated and looked at Xiao Yang quietly. Based on their perceptions and the methods in their hands, they didn't find the slightest, and they could only focus on Xiao Yang immediately. Let's go here. After Xiao Yang pondered for a while, he directly locked one of the passages. For some reason, when Xiao Yang was watching, only this passage made him resonate. Among the resonance fluctuations, there is no shortage of holy flames and burning decisions. Hell Road. It is said that the realm of is only suffering and not happy, and is filled with various emotions such as greed, hatred, ignorance, and slander. Would it be too bold? Yunyun raised her head and looked at the abyss of the cave in the Hell Dao, where a gloomy and eerie wind was blowing. She worried. Extremely reversed, and now we can only do this. Xiao Yang gritted his teeth, and immediately his eyes became firm. In this cave, both the void and other forces are too complicated and mysterious. Today, they have become guests in the cave. If they can't successfully break through the rules of the game set up by the 6 Paths Reincarnation Immortals, I am afraid they will stay here forever. And this time into the cave, although there are only dozens of people, but these guys are all leaders in the world. If you keep wandering here, the situation of Sheng Yang will become precarious. That kind of scene, absolutely not what Xiao Yang wanted to see. I will enter the passage for a while, and I will always use my soul power to protect myself. All illusions are unbelievable, including me. Xiao Yang looked at the passageway of hell, and immediately turned his head to instruct the 2 women behind him. What exactly is the power of the reincarnation of the heavens? And in this cave dwelling, how dangerous is the test game set up by the Six Paths Reincarnation Immortals? All of this is unknown to Xiao Yang and the others, and at the same time it is full of challenges. Would this be too cautious? Listening to Xiao Yang's solemn words, Yu read www.ukanshu.com. Yueru said hesitantly. Trust my intuition, the atmosphere here always feels a little weird. Xiao Yang shook his head and shrugged. Since entering here, the holy flame within the body burst out with a faint aura of resistance, as if resisting something. That hostility is particularly strong, and it is the strongest hostility Xiao Yang has ever seen in his life. Believe him. Yun gently took Yueru's palm, and immediately followed Xiao Yang quietly. In terms of Shenyang, among the three, I am afraid no one knows better than Xiao Yang. If that's the case, then let's go. Just after finishing speaking, the three of them immediately poured into the passage of Hell Road and started their trip to the cave. This video will end here.